So I once got to the final round of a job, two interviews, lots of back and forth with the recruiter because I was headhunted. References were all checked. And then the feedback was, Simon, great candidate, just not the right culture fit. No elaboration, no specifics, just not the right culture fit. And I remember thinking to myself, what the hell does that even mean? Hey Deany, how you doing?
Good. Should I do the intro?
Thought that was the intro. Do the intro now.
Welcome to Rejected or Selected, a podcast with Simon Carabetta and me, Deany Jagdur. We talk about job search woes, hiring horrors, and everything fair and unfair in and around our work lives.
Hi Deany, how's it going today?
Yeah, good. It's been a funny day today, Simon.
It has been a funny one. For those of you who are probably wondering, if you're watching our video, you're probably wondering why are you guys smiling? It's a serious topic. We always get together half an hour before our recording sessions and have a little chin wag. It's the end of a long working day for both of us. It's currently 5:30 in the afternoon here in Bali and in Perth. And it's a little bit over it. And we're just a little bit over it.
No, never.
Stay with us
Never.
today. No, never over it.
But we need to,
the,
yeah, we need to chop through this episode. Not that we want to rush anything, but I'm just really
No.
worried that my internet's going to be cut off. So,
What? Hang on, but why is that? Why would your internet be cut off? You guys not pay your bills.
don't worry. No, we pay. It's prepaid, so that's also a risk.
Okay.
No. So, and we're not in a war zone, so don't worry, anybody. No. Okay, moving on. It's because tomorrow is the silent day in Bali, which is Nyepi. It's a Balinese Hindu religious day, and it means that we need to be silent, be still, be quiet. No working allowed, no going out allowed, no lights or lighting fire allowed. Yeah, everything's going to be shut off, even the internet. Oh, Nabil tried to get some money today and they already turned off the ATMs.
Sorry, they turned off the ATMs.
Yeah,
Well,
for security reasons.
Security, but is that also so people aren't cashed up and willing to go out and spend money? Is that why? But wait a minute, nothing will
No,
be open,
it's
right?
no, it's more for security because there will be zero
Oh,
people on the streets tomorrow. So, it would be an opportunity for, if you were that way inclined, to go to a place and just hook whatever machine you want hooked up because there's going to be no one to see it, to see you do your thing.
so
So
no
they,
security, nothing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
no one's
What
allowed
if
out.
now? So this is okay. This is new for me. I'm learning something. I'm sure all our
Yeah.
listeners learned something who don't live in Bali learned something or don't
Yeah.
know anything about this. What's the significance of this? What's it? Yepi.
The day, yes, Nyepi, day of silence. So during Nyepi, during the day and all the way to midnight again, as I said before, no one's allowed to go out. Everyone's supposed to be meditating and, getting off the grid and just being peaceful. But also it's to, I guess symbolically, uh, make it as if Bali is a ghost town, is empty. So the spirits do not stay, they just leave because there's no one to
Oh,
tempt and bother. Yes, yes.
interesting.
Mm,
Okay, very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I'm
So
sure
tonight,
the spirits would probably be bored. That's another reason to leave, right?
yeah,
There's nothing
exactly. I
happening.
mean, could be. That's a valid reason
Oh, why
because,
hang around, guys?
spirits
It's
like
just
to
boring.
party. Spir-
Yeah. Hey, we
Spirits
got
like to
Bangkok
party.
just across the coast there. Just let's head there
Yeah,
today.
I mean, they can
Yeah.
just go,
There's
all go
KL.
to,
KL's not far,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, but I mean, Copenhagen's probably more happening. Phuket than
Phuket,
KL.
maybe. Yeah,
No
probably.
offense,
Yeah, well,
Malaysia.
no, no offense to anyone, Malaysia. Please do not
Yeah.
alienate the whole country from our viewership.
No.
Um,
But yeah,
but
today's
Katie,
going to be exciting.
yeah,
Mm.
just to ask you
Today's
one
going to be
more
exciting
question.
because we're going to, yeah, sorry, go on, Simon.
Sorry,
Skip.
go back to Nyepi because I'm actually really interested in. And folks, we're not going to concentrate on this for the episode. I guarantee it. You
Okay,
have kids. How do you deal with
I have
Nyepi
kids.
with young kids?
So last year, which was our first Nyepi as a family in Bali together. Because usually around Nyepi you would just go off somewhere else, go to another island because obviously in Java they don't observe this, or go
Mm.
overseas or go back to Australia or whatever. But last year I just told them that, yeah, well, I just told them there's no internet and so you can't use your tablets,
Mm.
and they're fine with it.
Okay.
They're
Wow.
fine.
That's awesome. That's
I mean,
amazing. I'm sure they're not,
yeah,
but
but
that's
I mean,
amazing.
to be honest, I do back up by like putting some downloads on their tablets, but I try to not let it make an appearance. I mean, as a
Mm.
parent, it makes you, put some effort in as well to spend time with your kids because you can't do anything else. Like I can't work. I've actually told work that I'll swap it with Anzac Day because
Mm.
yeah. Wait, not Anzac Day. What's coming up?
Easter. Easter's coming up. We've got Good Friday.
Easter,
We've got
Easter, yes,
Monday.
all the days. Well,
All the
anyway,
days.
I'm swapping it with one of the public holidays in Australia, which I've kind of
One of
lost
our
track of.
Western holidays. Okay. Sounds
WA
great.
holidays.
Some WA holiday.
But yeah, no, I
Anyway,
love
we'll
Nyepi. I love
digress.
Nyepi in Bali. Mm,
That's awesome. Look, I loved hearing about it, loved learning about it, so thank you for that.
no worries.
But back to the serious topic at hand. I really want to
Yes.
know, Deany, I want to get your perspective because I'm at a bit of a loss here. Where did culture fit come from? What's the original intent? What's the intent behind those words, culture fit, when you talk about an organization?
Uh, to be honest, I've no idea. I mean,
Is
I
it
can
like,
assume what it means.
because I assume it means things like we got shared values at this place or something,
Yes,
or
yes. You work the same way, right?
okay.
You can keep up with not keep up, I guess. You can be aligned with the way the business likes to run or operate,
Hmm.
right? If people like to generally, they're able to work independently, minimal guidance, like, you know,
Mm.
as my CEO says, manager of one. So you take ownership of your work and you can, no, but that's a term. We can
Mm.
cover it next time. But, being able to have that, I guess, value in the way that you work, and if you share it with other people that you work with, that
Mm.
help that helps make a company's culture, right? So maybe something like that.
But my question is, okay, it means things like it could also mean things like, I guess, collaborating the same way, or as you
Yeah,
said, your working style. What happens though when pressure gets too much? Do we all deal with pressure the same way? Does it deal with that as well?
probably not. It
Ha
could be
ha.
that as well. Do you know what's
This is the thing.
revealing though? Yeah.
Mm. What's that?
What's revealing though, because I've been a hiring manager and we have used
Okay.
culture fit. Maybe it's something that people just assume everyone has a similar understanding of, but actually have never really sat down and defined it. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of the companies I've worked for, we didn't have a proper definition of culture fit. So, you
Mm.
know, it's interesting.
Okay. Well, we're going to do something right now. We're going to do a live experiment thing. Okay.
Uh,
So, so put you on the
I have
spot.
a feeling I'm
It's like,
the guinea
like you
guinea
put me
pig.
on. This is like when you put me on the spot in our last episode with the salary guys. I'm
Never.
going to now do the same. It's not retribution, folks. I guarantee you, this is just what we do. All right. So
Yes, yes. We're not
okay,
petty
so
like that.
Deany, no, we're not at all. I'm not vindictive. Okay, so Deany, if you
Mm,
if you were hiring someone right now, what would
mm.
culture fit actually mean to you? Now, you've got a computer in front of you. Do not Google the definition culture fit. What
My
does
hands are
that
here.
definition, good, what does it mean to you?
Okay, to me personally, because these are my own opinions, right? Um,
Hmm.
and I will hark back to when I was a hiring manager, and just similar to what I was saying before, my understanding of culture fit is hiring someone who, as a hiring manager, you can see that person working and collaborating well with everyone else because you share similar values in the way that you do your work. Um, or if you have a business where you feel like it is quite demanding and there's a lot of pressure alongside working within that business, or it's a small team and you need to make certain concessions, I guess, in terms of, roles aren't clearly defined perfectly in the beginning, but it's improving to get there, or the
Mm,
task or duties can vary from, 1 month to another, depending on the business requirements. Then you need to hire someone who, in the interview, you feel like they would perform well or be okay with that kind of uncertainty or variance in the job, because it's not for everyone, right? But admittedly,
mm.
now that I think about it, it's probably better to actually have a defined culture, because especially with your hiring managers that are, on the panel with you, like having that understanding of, okay, what does that actually mean? That's my
Well,
answer.
yeah, I think it's we're never going to come to a shared understanding. And well done, by the way, putting you on the spot. Then you articulated that quite well. So bravo, Deany.
Thank
I don't
you.
think I could have.
Thank
I
you.
don't think I would have come up with anything as close to coherent as that. So that was good. Um,
Gold star.
we we go back to my teaching days. Yes, gold star for you. Scratch and sniff stickers. Remember those ones? They were great.
Yes.
Show you some of those.
Oh, what was that? Sorry.
Right.
Oh,
Moving
it's a
on.
bit hot in the
We're never
room
going
right
to
now.
come to
Okay, go
a.
on. Might cut
I
that
don't think we're going to
out.
come to a. No, that's not. We're not going to come to a shared understanding about what culture fit is. One thing I can't understand, and I don't think I'll ever be able to reconcile with corporate Australia, is that a lot of organisations will talk about and boast about their culture and their culture fit. But a lot
Mm,
of organizations also talk about how they celebrate diversity, not in terms of ethnic or gender diversity or any other type of diversity. We're talking about diversity in
hmm.
ways of working, right? So diversity in ways of
Yes.
working. And
Yeah.
we want people who have different ways of working and different ways of thinking, and people who think outside the box and don't think like everyone else and don't work like everyone else. But how is that fitting with your definition of a culture fit? Not that there is a shared definition, but in my opinion, a culture fit means that you fit this box. You're the square
Yes.
peg in the square hole. Remember back to our
In the
first
square hole,
episode,
yeah.
we talked about that whole thing, fitting the peg. If you're not fitting the peg, we don't want you in the organization. That's how I understand culture fit. And maybe I'm only saying
Mm,
that because I had a really bad personal hiring experience where that was the reason why I didn't get the
mm,
job. And I know that wasn't the reason, because that reason
mm.
is used as an excuse, as a cover. But many times when people aren't getting over that final hurdle, there's either a reason that legally the company can't tell you, or for any other reasons that they want to hide behind, they don't want to tell you. That's
Hmm.
my take in.
Yeah. Is it legal though? I mean, I guess it is because everyone uses it, but that's just my assumption. Like culture fit used as
Mm.
a reason. Is it actually legal?
It,
Do you know?
I would have to go ahead and say that I believe that in some cases there are certain things that a hiring manager or a panel or the person with the final say can't say to the candidate, can't maybe say to the recruiter either. So we
Mm,
use culture fit as a reason why.
like a
Because
catch-all.
again, we have laws in Australia that cover things such as discrimination, right?
Yeah,
However,
yeah,
you and I both know more than anyone, as well as anyone, not more than, but not
as
experts,
well.
but better than anyone about the unconscious bias. That's the reason this podcast exists. We did that presentation last year, 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
we know that prejudice does come from that. And while we like to claim that, no, we are in no way prejudiced against anyone, it might not necessarily be their background or who they are. It might come down to things
Mm,
such as their qualifications or maybe something to do with their past experience. There may even be a conflict of interest that can't be discussed for certain reasons.
okay, that's
Not that
interesting.
I'll go into
I guess,
specifics today, but
okay,
that's my
why
take.
not?
That's my take. I,
Name names, name names. Um,
I will
we'll
name
revisit
names
that,
today.
Simon. Yes, I can't wait. I guess the core problem though with the core problem with culture fit, I mean, okay, we discussed a little bit about why it would make sense. You want to have people who can work and collaborate and handle pressure
Mm,
in the same or similar ways. Um, or, you want to make sure that person can actually be happy in the company because they feel comfortable enough and, confident enough to contribute however way they want to contribute. At the end of the
hmm
day, though, a lot of the time people use culture fit more in a, oh yeah, I can imagine having a beer with that person, or I can imagine, spending
mm,
social time with that person, which is not really, yeah, it's not really I mean, it is a slight, it is a criteria in a way because you want to be able to get along with someone, but it's not necessarily a key requirement to be able to do the job and actually contribute meaningfully to a business, right? So what I was saying
mm.
before, there's no real definition of culture fit. It's just so subjective, and therefore you cannot be accountable, right? There's no accountability behind what culture fit is. So yeah,
So,
that
yeah. Look, I'll get
exacerbates the
back to
problem.
something. It does 100%. You're so right. So I'll get back to something you said in just a moment. I'll backtrack to that having a beer with
Okay.
someone analogy you used, or example you used. What I
Hmm.
will say, though, is that are we comfortable with now saying on this show at this point in time, culture fit is just a vague term that doesn't mean anything?
Well, yeah, that's why. Yes, yes,
There you go. So
yes,
we've solved it,
yes.
everyone. We've
It's
solved the problem. No, we
yes.
haven't.
It's
But
just a polite
yeah.
way of rejecting people, right?
There you go. That's half of
It's
our
a polite
podcast name
way.
right there, people.
Done. Done.
Yeah, you're not selected, you're rejected because you are not a culture
You're
fit.
rejected because you're not a culture fit. Have you ever been told that, Simon? Have you experienced that in the past?
I have,
Because
but
I
I would like
haven't.
to also ask our audience if you've ever been rejected
Mm,
from a job because you, or even a promotion or a job in another area in your company, have you ever been rejected because you were told you were not a culture fit? Please let us know. You can DM us
mm,
on Instagram, LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel as well.
mm.
Deany, yes, I do have a personal
Yes.
story. So
Mm,
I'll link it back to the opening of this episode, my last little
mm-hmm.
cold open about my hiring experience. So I'll name the name at the end. So I actually made it to the second interview, which apparently was going to be the last interview. It was with the
Yeah.
person who was going to be my manager at the organization. It was a consulting role. It's the first time I've ever gone for a consulting role as well.
Mm,
I got the interview through a recruiter, so I was headhunted, and
mm,
the recruiter the entire way through the process, and this is only the third time in my life I think I dealt directly with a recruiter. He was extremely positive the whole time, saying, "Look, we've got no one else like you on the market for this particular role. They
mm,
want to think outside the box for this job. I'll come back to that in a bit. They don't want their usual style candidate. They don't want the usual style consultant. They want to go with you. They've seen your experience of what you've done. It's a bit different." So I thought,
okay.
okay, great. This is awesome. Let's do it, mate. The pay was really good. The job was in the city. I was living in the city, which I still am at the moment time, so it's only 5 minutes away from me. It's just perfect job,
Mm,
right? Awesome. Made it to the second interview. Hiring manager went for about an hour. We had a really good chat back and forth. Um, I found it went really well. And then all throughout the process, the recruiter kept in touch with me. Then there was a time
mm-hmm.
where I wasn't hearing anything, and it's been a while. And I had the last interview. I thought it went well, and it had been about a week and a half. I thought they did tell me by now I'd hear something. So I just picked up the phone, called the recruiter, said, "Hey, what's going on? I haven't heard anything. Is there any update?"
Okay.
"Oh yeah, look, there's still you're in the process. I think you've 100% got the job, mate. Just a couple of boxes on there in the tick, and then we're done. But I feel very good.
Yeah.
Don't stress. Blah blah blah. Doing everything you can to keep me calm." Like, cool, awesome, mate. Thanks. Another week goes by, so I thought I'll leave it a week, do the right thing. 7 days, call him up again. "Hey, look, haven't heard anything. Is there a problem?"
Mm,
"Nah, mate.
mm,
Like I said, everything's going well. Just a few things have happened. They just need to slow down the process a bit. But look, you got the job. Don't worry about it." Blah 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 blah. Fact, he said I got
mm.
the job. Rule number one, as a recruiter, don't tell your candidate you got the job until they got the job. Anyway, that's a whole nother episode for us. Steve. Little while goes past, and I basically have had enough. I'm like, "Oh, what's
Yeah.
going on?" I haven't heard from the recruiter at all. I
Yeah.
am
And in the
contacted,
meantime, you need
but
a job, right?
yeah, exactly. But I am contacted, and I
Yes.
do appreciate the fact that she contacted me. The hiring manager did
Yeah.
contact me to say you haven't got the job, and the reason is you weren't a good culture fit. Now, the first time I've ever been told that in my life, that's the first of two. I'm
Mm.
not going to go into the second story, but the first time I've ever been told that in my life left me in quite a bit of shock. I didn't ask any questions after that. I just accepted it. I was disappointed,
Yeah.
moved on from that.
Yeah.
That's the story. It came out of nowhere. You're not a culture fit. I was kind of expecting maybe you haven't got the experience that we were looking for because of
Yeah.
the whole story about you're not the type of person they would usually hire for this job, but they want to go outside the box. That to me said, okay,
Yeah.
that's a different way of doing things. That's
What,
great. So
what,
my worry, my
yeah, okay.
concern was only coming from a place of maybe I'm not the experience, I haven't got the experience they want. I'm not a culture
Mm.
fit. So yeah, very,
What does that actually mean? Yeah. What
it
does
is
that actually
demoralizing
mean?
too because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You can't get the feedback.
Mm.
How do you get tangible feedback from somebody that says you're not a good culture fit when culture fit is already, as we know, a very vague term? How do you quantify
Yeah.
culture fit?
Ha
You don't.
well,
You
on
simply
that.
can't.
Well, on that though, on that. I mean, I guess from the hiring side of things, because my experience is as a hiring manager, and we have in the planning, in the lead up to the interviews, because we've filtered down shortlisted candidates and contacted them for interview and stuff. So the three of
Mm,
us at the time, we got together and we talked about, okay, what are the types of things that we want to look for? But we were mainly talking about the role itself. We were also talking about, okay, yeah, they need to be a good culture fit, but we didn't really explore what that meant. We didn't define it, right?
mm,
So looking back, I guess we got off easy, because if someone during the interview asks, do you have a defined culture? What is your culture like? It would have been a little bit difficult to explain that. And then what would you say to someone that, somehow didn't fit the culture? But
mm.
you've explained what we define as a culture and they actually do fit that. Um, you'd have to come up with something else, but it is just a polite way to reject, right? So,
It is.
yeah.
It is.
I
100%.
guess we need
I
to know
agree with you.
yeah, what we need to do to replace that, to not fall into that trap, that lazy culture fit trap.
There are things we can do. There's lots of things a company can do to avoid culture fit and use different language that's based on something they've
Mm,
actually got documented as part of their
yeah.
company. For example, I'll just quickly go into this. Culture fit, maybe replace it with something like values alignment. Actually define what
Mm.
your company's core values are. Have that in writing. Have it on your goddamn website, right? For everyone to see, for the public to see. Have it, in any kind of recruitment
Mm,
documentation processes, things that you put out there, any marketing, so that your candidates and your recruiters and your internal and external agency recruiters can all get on the same page and say, we know these are the values. We're going to get candidates who we
mm.
believe will live by these values.
Well,
So if the
yes.
rejection comes, you have a reason. You have a reason right there.
So it shouldn't be culture fit. It should be replaced by values, value alignment, right?
Our core
The person
values,
that you hire.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. What are your company values? Because that's easy. A lot of
And
companies have that
exactly.
defined.
Oh, and by the
Mm.
way, Deany, if your company's values are we work hard, we play hard, do not ever apply for a job at that company. I'm telling you right now. And if they say
Fast paced
our
and
values,
dynamic.
we're a family. Sorry, Vin
I
Diesel,
know.
shut up. We're not
Hey,
a family, okay?
mate, I came from startup world, so I know all about the families and the pizza
Yeah.
Fridays, all right? So don't
hmm
worry. Now I
Pizza fries.
realize
We've got a Mortal Kombat machine in the
it's
break room. Yeah. Okay.
insane. It's
Fantastic.
insanely just,
Yeah.
yeah, BS. BS.
It
Run
is. It
away.
is.
Run away. Um, yeah, so lessons learned though. Moving on. Lessons learned from your experience, Simon, and I guess me, if I'm ever looking for another job, which I'm not at the moment,
Mm.
I'm not. But
And I'm not
next
either.
time, if
I have to, I'll
yeah,
say that
okay,
too.
we just
I'm not looking for a job. I
yeah,
love
just
my
to
job.
clarify. Um, anyone out there, if next time you do get this culture fit excuse as a rejection, as a reason behind your rejection, you should definitely get back to them and say, what is culture fit? How would you define it? And see what they come back with. If they don't come back with anything, then you've dodged a bullet, honestly.
Absolutely. That's a really good call to action there, Deany. I would 100%
Yeah.
advise people do that as well. Like, honestly. But if this hits close to home for you, which I'm sure it does for a lot of our audience, share it with someone. You don't have to necessarily let us know. Share it with other people, your colleagues maybe that you work with now. If you got a really good cultural fit story of your own, drop it in our DMs on Insta and LinkedIn, please, because we would love
Yes.
to. Look, we're all about stories, as I always say on this show. We'd love to hear your story. Deany, I honestly, it's one of those things, culture fit, where we need to just land it today. The fact that it is a
Yeah.
vague term that means nothing, let's replace it with
hmm
something more tangible that is documented that you can actually use as a reason why people aren't getting the job.
Yeah. And if you don't agree with any of our hot takes or anything we're saying, we would love to hear it as well.
We absolutely would. We're not experts in this field, so
No.
we are always open to any kind of disagreement or any kind of constructive criticism around our own
Yes.
arguments. Please
Yes.
drop us a DM if you
Constructive.
don't agree. And if you're a hiring manager who has used the culture fit excuse, no judgment on you. We want to hear
No
from you too.
judgment. I
Why did you use
have.
it? Why did you use it?
I
Exactly.
have. I mean,
100%. Exactly. Right.
mm,
Look, it's been an
yeah.
enjoyable chat, Deany. It really has.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Likewise.
And we have enjoyed speaking to all of our lovely audience. And we will see all of you, well, you'll hear all of us next time on
Yes.
Rejected or Selected. Until then,
Selected.
ciao.
Bye bye. Link and subscribe.